It's not just figuring it out. It's not a puzzle. It's not Sudoku. Right? If all we had to do is apply mental effort, then the only people who could become enlightened would be like really smart people. And I can assure you that really smart people, most of them are not terribly enlightened. Right? Think about the smartest person you know. Right? Not the wisest person you know, but the smartest person you know. The smartest person I know is like, tells me at every opportunity he's a Mensa. And like, he's always kind of like, whenever he's there, kind of like, he lets drop kind of the latest book that he's reading, and it's always like Kierkegaard or something like that. He has to tell people this. So wrapped up in ego, so wrapped up in thoughts and what other people think, and his own image of himself, and things like this. Tangled. Right? And I'm not criticizing him, because I'm the same way. You're all the same way. Maybe not about intelligence, maybe about something else. Right? But we get so tangled that when something happens, when someone says, F off, we can't actually see what's happening. Right? We can't actually see how that originated, what it was occurring. So all we do is we take these little shortcuts, these little short circuits that are established by our karma, established by our habits, and we misperceive everything. We get it all wrong. And then we start wars. We get divorced. We take actions that we think are justified. We create even worse karma. And the effect of that karma, when we experience that, we suffer, we react, we short circuit, we make up stories, we see it wrongly, we create more bad karma. We might run across the phrase karma accumulates. Right? That we don't just have karma and it just sits there, it actually accumulates. Because every time we experience the effect of karma, unless we're aware, unless we understand dependent origination, unless we understand karma, unless we can see, unless we can be mindful, right, then we just create more of it. It just accumulates until we're just buried. And if we've been doing that for millions of lifetimes, think how deep we are. And the Buddha said, we can get rid of it all. Okay. So, when you look at a situation, when you look at this situation, where we are right now, and you think about all the causes and conditions that have led into this, you being in this room, and me being in this room, what's going on right now, what do we call that? Well, what's going on right now? There's a specific name for what's going on right now.
Life.
Well, be mindful of
phenomenon.
The present moment.
the present moment.
Sorry.
We always are saying, be mindful of the present moment. Right? Be mindful of the present. So what is in the present moment right now?
A heck of a lot.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. All the past is in the present moment.
Whoa.
Because if you took any of these conditions away, or any of these past conditions away, then we wouldn't have the present moment. If this effect is the present moment, think of all the causes and conditions that had to go into that. Okay? And if any of those were missing, then this would be different, or it wouldn't exist at all. So what do we mean when we say be mindful of the present moment? Well, actually, that's true. So in other words, it contains the past, it also contains all the possibilities for the future. Right? So when we say present, Okay, we've got this kind of blip in time. You have the timeline here, right? So here's the present moment. Right? It actually contains every moment before it, contains every moment after it. So what is it that I'm supposed to be mindful of? If I say be mindful of the present moment, what should I be mindful of? Like,
What God, you're doing what you're doing. This is the general focus.
Appreciating the fact that all these conditions came into place to allow me to do it.
yeah.
What allows you to change karma, right? Either the past or towards the future.
So if you see this present moment for what it is, and you see that it's all causes and conditions come together, by being mindful of the present moment, it's almost like whatever I'm paying attention to in the present moment, I have to be careful. Right? I have to be careful that I don't just get lost. I don't get distracted and think, okay, that's what's going on in the present moment. Right? And even inside this room, there's a whole bunch of activity going on inside this room, right? Which contributes to us being able to be here. Right? There's a whole bunch going on on the planet, in the solar system, in the galaxy, all of which were necessary for us all to be here. So when you consider the present moment, it's actually being aware, not specific in a specific sense, but in a general sense of everything. Right? That you don't get distracted, you don't get focused, you don't get trapped by one thing or a couple of things. And if you have that perspective, what do you think it's like? Right? I won't tell you, you have to experience it. Right? But when you were in a situation, right, and when you say, this is a bad situation, or even when you say this is a good situation, and you're aware of that present moment, think of all the suffering that's gone into making that moment. Think of all the joy that's gone into making that moment. Think of all the potential that's in that moment. Okay? And from there, decide what to do. Don't just take the shortcut. Okay? Okay. So, is this helpful? Or is this confusing?
Very helpful.
Okay. We've got a second class next week. So, between now and then, yeah, Martin.
I was just going to.
I don't know that one.
I was just going to say, we talked about emptying the cup, but there's another story. For those of you who are confused, and sometimes these new ideas are slamming up against old ideas, but there's 3 properties of the cup. You want to talk about those, or?
I didn't right now. Okay.
Because I just very briefly, I just wanted to mention that, you know, we all come to this class, we say empty our cup, but it's easier said than done. So we tend to come for their own preconceptions, our own interests, and so forth. And the 3 properties of the cup is, we talk about it being not, thank you. We talk about it, sabotaging my mind. We talk about keeping your cup half empty, but there's also, you want to have a clean cup. Like when you go to Starbucks, you want to have a clean cup. So you want to try and, all biases, you want to try and clean that out. You want to have a cup the right side up. You want to have proper intention. You want to come here to maybe suspend and believe a spiritual tradition 2,500 years old may know something that you may not have thought of. And it doesn't have a hole in the bottom of the cup. So you want to be able to retain the ideas and to contemplate them. Because what Greg's going over, it's not something you come to a class, listen for an hour, and say, got it. So that's all I wanted to know.
And it really is, it's something you find. And it's something that, once you're aware of it, you actually start to see it everywhere. Okay? So I don't know if you guys are aware, downstairs, there are sayings from Master Xing Yin. So if you walk along the hallway in front of the main shrine, there's Master Xing Yin and there's like different couplets. Right? So there's like 2 or 4 down there. So when you get a chance, I want you to look at those. Because all of them are about cause and effect. They're all about dependent origination. Right? So if you're looking for ways of like, how does this apply to real life? Right? You'll see that. I'll give you another example. I always, for those of you who have been to my last couple of classes, I always talk about my dogs. Right? So we had some problems a couple of weeks ago. where like one of the dogs was just really rambunctious, it was misbehaving, it was like, doing things that dogs are not supposed to do. Right? So that, you could say, is an effect. Right? It's also a cause of me yelling at the dog. Right? So I would pick, I would say like, why don't you behave? And like, we'll punish you and we'll put you in there and stay there until you're quiet and stuff like that. Right? Try training, right? So let's try training. And that would work for a little while, but really, not really. Okay. So what it turned out to be was the dog just had too much energy. It had been raining that week. We couldn't get him out. He was just full of energy. Right? Took him out for a walk, got him really, really tired. He was fine. He was the most obedient dog you've ever seen in your life. What I was doing the first time was treating the effect. So if you see this effect manifesting, all I was doing was responding to the effect. What I wasn't doing was changing the conditions, changing the causes. Right? So the real cause was the dog just had too much energy. Right? So if I change that, if I understand the cause, and if I address myself to fixing, to changing the cause, making that cause go away, once that cause was gone, the dog behaved. And it was so much more effective and so much more pleasant than trying to force the dog to behave once the effects were there. Right? It's the same thing like, when we have a disease. Right? If we don't, address the cause of the disease, then, and just try to address the effects, then we're not very successful. Right? When we try to address suffering. Right? When we get to the Four Noble Truths. Right? Dependent origination is a way of understanding the Four Noble Truths, as it says in the handout. Right? So if we don't understand, if we just try to address the effects, if we say I'm suffering, I'm going to try to deal with that directly, without addressing the cause, then we don't get very far. And that's usually our strategy. If we're suffering, we just try to deal with the suffering. We try to deal with the effects. We try to make ourselves feel better. Right? We're very rarely brave enough to actually peel back the layers, endure the suffering, peel back the layers to understand the cause and then address the cause. So, end with that. Please, next week, if you haven't done the readings, please do the readings. There may be another handout coming, but I don't promise it. But if there is, if not, we'll be going back to the textbook and we'll go from there. And please come back with questions.